Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Dave Schroeder. I'm a technologist, and I run a group of systems engineers for VMware here for the central U.S. And our job is to go out and talk to customers and to Doug's point, help educate the industry leaders and the business leaders on technologies inclusive of virtualization and cloud computing. And it's interesting because you get a perspective from a 6-year-old who says, what's your daddy do? I heard her over talking to somebody, and she says, well, my daddy's in the clouds. So interesting, and I listened to her. She said, yeah, he's always talking about it, and he's always flying in them. So that's what I do. I'm in the clouds.
Actually, I wish I'd have had that analogy for the board member last week.
There you go. So you think it's hard enough to explain virtualization to somebody because, years ago, you used to get on a plane, and I'd sit next to somebody, and they say, hey, what do you do? And I work for VMware. I would, oh, what is VMware? Well, we're a virtualization company. Well, what's that? Well, that was a tough conversation several years ago. So I had to come up with an analogy for that one as well. And the best analogy I started using was the one I gave to my wife when I first started with VMware, and that was, the picture-in-picture on a television, when you pop the next picture up and you can actually watch multiple screens on your TV. Well, that's sort of what virtualization does, but with computers, right? So I know it's kind of a cheesy one, but that's what virtualization allows us to do, is simplify and take advantage of excess capacity on systems. So what we've done over the years is VMware has been in a position to help transform sort of the industry from one generation of IT to the next. And you heard Nick talk about that this morning, and we're clearly in this next generation of IT. Right? We're sort of transforming or transitioning from the client-server sort of way we deliver IT services to this new capability that we call cloud computing. And Paul Moritz is our CEO, and what he talks about is that VMware is a very unique position within this transition, because we'll either be the last great company of the client-server era, or we'll be the leaders of the next cloud computing era. And what he means by that is, if you think about what VMware does, where we've gotten our namesake from, is to provide this abstraction layer of software that cloaks hardware and allows us to build efficiencies on existing infrastructure, right, by running multiple computers on top of one another. So we're providing a lot of business value to existing customers who have many, many computers and they don't know what to do with it. So that business value is in the capital savings of doing consolidation. But our opportunity going forward with the winds of change that are coming is to provide and be the provider of enabling technologies to build out cloud infrastructures, both private and public, and to what Pat alluded to earlier, and I'll get to this, hybrid clouds. And Pat also stole my thunder a little bit, and what does VMware really do? Well, one thing that customers sometimes come to me and they say, well, VMware has this cloud offering, what is it? And I have to educate them and say, VMware is not offering a cloud service. We don't have big data centers in California and in New Jersey and across the country. What we do is we provide the tools and the methodologies and some of the consulting services to help people get to the cloud. And it's sort of analogous to, years ago in the gold rush, right? When everybody was running to California to go find gold. Who were the people that made the most money in that exercise? It wasn't all the ones going to go get the gold. It was the suppliers. It was the people giving the tools, the pickaxes, the bags. But most importantly, it was those consultants or those guides saying, go dig over there, right? Those are the guys that really made the money, right? So I like, not that we're going to gouge people for money, that's not my point. My point is that we're providing the capabilities for all the goodness that you're hearing about today around cloud, because there's no denying the business benefits that cloud provides. You've heard it over and over through all the sessions today. Reducing the cost of compute, simplifying how IT resources are built, managed, and run, and then offered to the consumers. It's an incredible value proposition, and as Nick talked about, there is a change that is happening. We are making compute more of a utility, and access to that utility is what VMware is really about providing. So let me share with you a little bit about VMware's vision and kind of where we fit into the equation. So to us, cloud, when we define cloud, it's not necessarily a destination, right? We're not advocating to you that to take all your applications and move them to a cloud somewhere. We believe that cloud computing is an approach and a way of computing. It's a way of delivering efficiencies to how IT providers get IT to the consumers, right? And we talk more in terms of IT and cloud-like capabilities. Because everyone in this room, whether you're on the IT side or the consumer side, cloud is going to touch your lives if it's not already. So we believe it's a way of compute. And if you think about this and how this breaks down and what we're talking to customers about, first and foremost, everyone that is a user of VMware has started to build out what we call their private cloud. Click the next button there. So enterprises are using VMware technology today. They're using virtualization technology to drive efficiencies into their own data centers. We call this the private cloud. We're enabling customers through newer management tools and existing tools that sit on top of our platform to build these same efficiencies that you can get from the outside, internal to their four walls. Additionally, we're partnering with several public cloud providers who are building large data centers for not only the startups, but also for customers who are mature enough in their journey that saying, hey, you know what? There are some services that we do want to go externally for. There are some services such as bursting services, right? We don't have enough raw capacity and we don't want to take on that capital expense, so let me go to a public provider for those services. Maybe we don't have a DR strategy today, but there is a public cloud provider that does do DR much more cost effective than what we can do. So our strategy, what it really is all about, and I swear I built these slides prior to coming here today, it's about building this hybrid cloud. It's about building a bridge from this on-premise world, the old world, to this new world. Because one of the things in the old world, the private cloud, that virtualization does do for you, is it also helps you preserve some of your legacy infrastructure that you have. It's great if you're a startup and you have no legacy overhead, you can go right to the cloud. But what do you do if you have 1,000, 2,000 systems and applications that you need to maintain? Well, our value statement is that virtualization gives value to those existing applications and platforms while providing you a bridge, to quote Nick from earlier, to this new world. So the thing that's most unique, I think, about VMware is that our message, our value proposition, is really oriented around giving customers the choice and also providing you the tools and technology that says build on-premise first, leveraging technology that you're already potentially using, and then when and if you're ready to go to the external cloud, we're going to provide you the capabilities to do so. And a great example of that is here today with Bluelock. Bluelock's a fantastic partner of VMware's because what they've done is they've built their cloud offering on the same foundational technology that VMware is working with in many of the organizations that we deal with. So what that protects customers from is it allows you the capability to quickly move and easily move your workloads from your internal private cloud to these external clouds if and when you're ready. Okay, it's a seamless transition. So that's why we're extremely excited about the partnership that we have with Bluelock. So we'll move on to the next slide. And I wanted to just share with you that VMware is changing our messaging a little bit. And when Paul Maritz came to VMware, he talked more about things above the infrastructure stack as being where the value in IT is going to come from. Certainly, the blue box down there is our virtualization capabilities and providing this capability to enable cloud. But when you start to think about the application layer and above the application, that's where the true business value becomes. And what we believe is that through the accessibility of this infrastructure, this dynamic infrastructure that's being built in all around us, is that applications of the new world are going to be re-architected and built purposely to take advantage of this wide-scale architecture. So when you think about consumer-based models for cloud computing, that same mentality is infiltrating IT and into business, right? Applications will be built with the same premise that some of the consumer applications that you probably all use today, Twitter, Facebook, etc. Those same models are infiltrating IT, so we need a programming model that allows IT to be able to do that effectively. And then at the top of our stack is a whole conversation around how do we provide end-user access to the resources that IT is providing from multiple devices, because the old models of a tethered PC and all your applications being built on that PC are no longer valid. We've got devices like iPads and iPhones and smartphones that are entering into IT. So users become the center of the universe. Users need access to applications, whether they're SaaS-based apps, internally based apps, etc., at any time, any place, anywhere. So our end user computing strategy is really focused on building solutions in that segment as well.